Continuing the Friday, August 17th letter to Rudolph from Prague, found in A True and Faithful Relation to What Passed for Many Years, Dr. John D. and some spirits. Attac ut veritatem nunc amitum exemplorum qua ex aliorum hominem inter se collatis vitis continubus factisque adferre possum exemplum satis conspicuum hoc unicum fiere possit nimerum illa incredibilis vere qua inter sacrum Casaubon majestatem visceram eo humilimum in deo mancipiam me vestram ex multiplicibus ut rinc procur rentibus occidibus jam quasi inster videtur in unum edemc admirandum quid comminatio divinaque conspiratio ambiverunt me juvenum illustrissime imperatores duo victoriosissimus ele Carolus Quintus eo adjustem frater Ferdinandus vestra Caesarea majestatis magnificentissimus avas hic Pasanae Hungaria elo vero Bruxella Brabantia hic the year 1563 ele autem the year 1549 ast elementissimum imperatorem Maximilianum Caesarea vestra majestatis patrem immortale glora dignum jam tum Hungaria coronatum regum inventissimo quidem ipso tyranno turcico eodem in Passanio eodem the year 63 in Dedicaeus habere coepe ere squa rarissimus virtutes cum fideliter coleratum posteritate eastem fredere commendadissimus apere quadam conabra hieroglyphico quo etiam in labor exant lundo animus mehe prasegebat austriaca temilia adium for adequando adequem in quo maxima mea spes eo publico Christianorum satue res confirmare ertur vel confirmate confirmare. Some of these letters are part missing. Paterit optima maximac vestra Egyptor Caesarea Majeste Imperatorum Romanorum ex Austriacorum Principum Nobilissima Familia mea Atate Florentium Quarto ad sum ego triplicus of a bete littera quarta, and in the margin, well, in the internal margin we have libella mundus hieroglyphica theromatica 20 jum ante 20 annos edition atec ita ads at me ipsum ad pedes Caesarea majestis vestra demesse asculandas afferam pluribum gravissurus se qua in re Christiana Republica Imperatore tanto talic gratis utilisve esse latero. And then we have two columns. Superscriptio erit hac serenissimo ac potentissimo principe ac domino Rudolfo die gratia Romanorum Imperatore semper Augusto ac Germania Hungaria Bohemia etc. Rege Archduke Austria Duque Burgundia Styria Carathea etc. Comite Tyrolis etc. Domino meo clementissimo vestra sacra Caesarea majestate sole se haa aliquande u confitare pate emine nemice de tegere velatitis rem facietis valde necessarium. Prague, anno 1584, August 17th. Caesarea majestis vestra humilimus eo fidelissimus clientulis Joannes D. Monday. And before I get into Monday with the cross, Prague, August 20th, main Kirka Horum 7. I can't totally read this, but I can give you the gist of what they're saying. Of course, they're addressing him as the Christian emperor, and divine truth illuminating their light, being relatable, and the investigation into events, talking about what happened with his grandfather, his brother Ferdinand. Oh, did I say 1600 something? That was a misprint, wasn't it? No, I said 1549, 1563. Okay. So this is one of those things with the prophecy. And Dee confirms his own sense of authority by saying that he is symbolized by the fourth letter of 3 alphabets. And supposedly the Turks were the tyrant ones, not the Christians who wanted to rule the world, but because they didn't want a Christian polity in a non-Christian majority area. That kind of makes sense. And if you look at the actual Islamic teaching, Islam doesn't allow forced conquest and conversion. Conquest and conversion happens when you attack, and they win, but they don't believe in fighting just to spread the land. It has to be a defensive war, and there's other things about that, but there's certain things in the Bible most Christians themselves wouldn't want implicated. But so Monday, symbolizing that Praga there is listed as a holy place, August 20th, 7 p.m., with the midpoint of the day being 12, or if there was daylight, I don't know when the time zones were set up, but daylight savings time and all that stuff wasn't a thing back then. Dicit precipus ad dium, facis ex mora nostro, etc. 1. I propounded, if the letter written for Rudolphus were as it should be. 2. Secondly, because we were willed to invite the good angels for the book writing, I asked how we should invite them. 3. As concerning our wives and my family sending for, I've required when that should be done. Edward Kelly said out loud quickly. Apparition was made. Edward Kelly said, here is Uriel. He said, welcome be, the light of the highest. Al-Ruh-al would be light spirit of God, but just plain Al-All, originally all those ones with the Yud in the middle of it, those indicate post-tonic names for the most part. But to answer these 3 questions before we move on a little bit, the one thing is that haven't these beings already told them, hey, why are you asking for? You're trying to please this guy and this guy, and it's like, do the mission, but don't focus on pleasing the worldly leaders. And same thing with the angel thing. It's like, well, if you do the act properly, then you'll attract the proper things without, calling up the angels and all these other things people call up. That's one of the great secrets of magic that people just don't get. It's like, you don't have to worship all these creations and figments of the imagination and all this other stuff. Things happen if you just do it right. If you're just pathetic pleader, if the beings see you as just pathetically pleading for no good reason to everything, just do your act of worship and whatnot, and just let things come and happen. And it's just like, they're high society men. They should kind of know how to deal with their families. Maybe actually that might not be as good of a sign that they would know, but they should probably know. But to indicate perhaps a Enochian thing, we have the letter V starting as the view, but actually that's probably not it. But Uriel would be the term. But he said, Woe be unto the wicked, for her light is taken away. Woe, woe be unto man, for the eye of light hath forsaken him. Woe, woe be to the understanding of man, for it is led out with a threefold spirit, the spirit of error and ignorance. And woe be unto such as believe not the glorious and eminent light of this testimony, for they are not written with the life, neither shall their portion be with the living. And thus saith he that is a mere stone, which sitteth between the seat of light and darkness, whose wings are great and more than mighty, wherewith he gathereth the stars and the powers that hang upon the firmament of the first and lesser light, placing them and powering them in the spirit of truth, and through his own power, the power of the world whereby all things are and are comprehended, in that he is as well in the heavens of glory, chastity, and message, as also in places unknown to us. Behold, those that dig into nature with dull mattocks and dull spades are such as of every congealed substance can imagine, but not judge, are foolish, and of the world, whose imaginations are become instruments of vanity, and the piercers of him which is the father of ignorance. We be unto them, for their disputations and doctrines are dogmas and dull. Woe, woe unto them, for they are such as please themselves, and are become fathers to many lewd children, of whom it is written, they are become stiff-necked and proud, and followers of their father. Therefore have I gathered myself together, and am hidden from them, because they are proud and haters of innocency. These teach not unto you a doctrine, neither are you partakers of their banquets. As we've seen elsewhere, that means banquets. For the Spirit of God is plain, pure, and most perfect. These breathe not upon you, neither are the ornaments of your garlands interlaced by these, but by him are you lifted up, in that is the God of justice, and the discloser of his own secrets, and the headlong drawer of things to an end. Therefore believe, and dream not with the world, for the world shall perish in all her adherents, and shall be cast into the pit of woe everlasting. Read the scriptures and understand them, but wrath them not with the wicked. Look into the simplicity and nakedness of God, his promise. View the innocency of some that receive them, and let not the wickedness of those that the Lord made virtuous go out of your remembrance, but so triumphant to power, so gathereth he himself together to discomfort the serpent. O the lightest he make the heaviest, and of the weakest the strongest, and in the weakest vessels worketh he his mercy. And why? Behold, lest the world in her proud imaginations, in the ornaments of her pearls and most precious wits, should brag, saying, I can compare with the Lord. Hear my voice, for it is of God. The world bringeth forth no good thing, neither are the doings of men accepted. But where the spirit of humility dwelleth, it's man, not men. Same thing. Out of the depth of darkness hath God made light, and lo, the light is great, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. So in the weakest will be exalted. The Spirit that speaketh unto you is he that hath a tower to build, a strong tower, and a mighty, yea, such a one as hath not been from the beginning, no, not from the beginning. Great is the foundation thereof, for it is of iron, but greater are her walls, for they are of diamond. Most great are her turrets, for they are the 7 heads that behold, judge, and gather. and they are made of truth, the spirit of eternity. Unto the laying of every stone are you made privy, and for this tower are you provided. 1. For lo, the first hath appeared and showed himself mightily. 2. And the second hath redeemed and overcome Satan. 3. And lo, the third appeareth and shall visibly shew the power of God to all nations. For now cometh the desolation of the world, and the fall of her pride, and this is the last rod that measureth, and shall be broken. For it is said, Now will I hear you from under the altar. Now will I revenge the blood of your brethren. O you ignorant and of weak faith, know you not the times that are to come? O you that spit out the meat of comfort, yea, when it is put lovingly into your mouths, why are you sorrowful? Why rejoice you not that the God of justice is girded, and hath whetted his sword upon 1,000,000 mountains of fire? Why laugh you not the world to scorn, and deride her fornication? Weep not upon her, for she is accursed, neither wonder at her, for she will be more wonderful. You have received this doctrine in chambers and in secret places, but it shall stand in the great city and upon 7 hills, and shall establish herself in truth. Purify the walls, and sweep out the dust and cobwebs, the works of the venomous, that it may be cast into the river, and brought into no remembrance. Yea, it shall sit in Josaphat in judgment against the wicked, and shall become a fire engendered in the cave of thunders. Therefore, when you are commanded, lift up your heads, and fear not, for whom the heavens shall fight, but in yourselves be patient, and continue to the end, that your crowns may exceed the garlands of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, Lo, I have promised thee that my angels shall visit thee, and so it shall be. But if I now visit thee, thus will the world say hereafter, Lo, he hath feigned a doctrine for himself. Lo, he excelleth in subtlety. When I gave my laws, they were not secret, neither was the place unsanctified. When the Comforter cometh, girdeth himself against the son of wickedness, then must you be known and seen unto the earth. But I will give thee the choice. Choose therefore whether thou wilt banquet now, because I have promised thee, or tarry till I see the time more convenient. For lo, if Rudolph hearken unto my voice, he shall wonder, and rejoice with thee. I will exalt him above the kings of the earth. Stay a while, I come again. One of the things about religion is that when God calls a prophet, messenger, or whatever you want to call them, their doctrine, they may give advice to individuals and keep their secrets or something. I mean, within bounds with that. But their teachings are supposed to be universal. Now, some people are spiritually gifted for their own sakes or something, but it's not a universal thing. But to the side of this, we have a note, an election, our choice offered to D. Rudolphus Imp. Inferior. And we also further up have Desolatio de qua profeta locutus est Apocalypse, chapter 18f. Primus Files Spiritus Sanctus. D. And Edward Kelly, Uriel hath a tower to build, and so on. God to us is the discloser of his own secrets, heavens of glory, chastity angels, the testimony to be believed upon great displeasure else, the spirit of pride, aliquid destis fortis. And internal margin we have Ecclesiastes tempus est tetende eo tempus est loquende veruta de transfiguration Christe, Matthew 17b, Matthew 9b, Luke 9b, 12a, constat something et prepilne Mathae, Matthew chapter 10, sequad in aure audictis predicate super tecta, and so on. Luke 12, Joel chapter 3, fear not, promise of visitation for the 48 calls, legislato manifesto in loco sanctificatis and de Christe adversio per spiritum SS futura, the epistle of Paul and Thessalonians 2, chapter 2. And in what follows, we have a vision, the garden of comfort. One of these men saith, D says he meaneth of the first and the second, which gathereth flowers, and the third, speak finem. And a third note causa fin qua non eo causa proxima eo craprea ut deferunt hic. The defiler of the flowers, the garden of wisdom. 3 manner of wise men, fury and revenge. Rudolph the emperor must be made privy of all. Rudolphus imper opera spes fidus meritum. Apocalypse chapter 3, Uriel, his voice. And so we're not going to finish here, but we're going to get more into that in the next program before we cross over to Tuesday the 21st. Oh, there's a bunch of Tuesday the 21st. But Edward Kelly said, now Uriel is here. He hath a chair, and is set down in it. It is like a throne. Here I see a green hill, and I see thereon 3 men, like learned men, in gowns of puke color. They have hats on their heads. Uriel hath in his hand a thing, like a rolling pin, of half an ell long, of gold. I see beyond the men a very fair park, enclosed with pale, piked, and so on. I see roses and lilies, and goodly flowers in one part of it, and fair running waters in it, and little hills, and all manner of birds. And in the middle of the park is a turret, and in the top of that a round thing like a stone, which giveth light all the park over, but without the park it is duskish, or dark. And I presume they mean twilight being gone. These 3 men stand together upon the pitch of the bank of the hill that goeth down toward Uriel. There appear 3 diverse fair ways to the park, 2 from the hill where the men stand, and 1 from the place about Uriel. 1. I see one man walk in the park, and he picketh flowers, and putteth them to his mouth. They smoke as the smoke of the snuff of a candle when the candle is put out. 2. I see likewise another man gathering the flowers there, and he would put the flowers to make them stick on his coat, but they will not hang on, but fall down, it is so bare. 3. I see a third man who hath his robes all belayed with lace of gold, great and small, and divers precious stones, and on his head a wreath like a garland, very broad, beset with very beautiful precious stones, and he trimmeth himself all over with flowers of the park, our garden. Now the 3 men are come from the hill before Uriel his seat. And Uriel said, Oh, one of those men saith, I most humbly beseech you that I may have access to the garden of comfort. Uriel said, Ye shall, I am contented. I'm reminded of an incident where Muhammad gives people the tidings in this life that they will, have, that they'll get the gardens of paradise in the hereafter. Now, far more people would, but I guess, they were the 10 people or 12 people or something that could handle getting the news.